cast the votes decide nothing. Those who count the votes decide everything. Interesting thinking. Who's programming these voting booths that are counting the votes, ballots by computers? Who's programming this computer? Go to vote scam on the internet. Just type in vote scam and see what you find, okay? Cause the registration of firearms so that you can eventually confiscate them. Gun control. Communist idea. Lenin said one person with a gun can control 100 people without one. Imagine the scene. You're standing in a bank trying to cash a check. Somebody runs in there with a gun, pulls out a gun and says, everybody lay on the floor. So everybody lays on the floor. Now imagine this scene. Every citizen is armed. The guy runs in the bank. Lay on the floor. Everybody pulls out their gun. You lay on the floor. While we all stomp on your head. Okay. Every dictator throughout history has wanted gun control. It's just a normal thing. You have to control the guns. Every dictator's wanted that. We cover much more on that in our college class 103 about the gun control. Gun control is not about guns. It's about control. Somebody sent me this button as a joke. Proudly unarmed. Would you wear this? What does this say to a criminal? Rob me. Isn't that what it says? At a very early age, Comrade Stalin went to a Christian school and he read Darwin's book and became an atheist. That's the book that changed Joseph Stalin's life forever. Joseph Stalin killed between 60 and 100 million of his own people. You should read anything by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, like the Archipelago Gulag, you know, the concentration camp. He spent 10 years in Stalin's concentration camps. One of my daughter-in-law is from Ukraine. I used to have 7 people on our staff from former Soviet countries. We know what they do over there. When Germany and Russia attacked Poland during World War II, Poland, you know, was just totally overwhelmed and no chance of survival in a situation like that. They captured all these Polish officers. They asked Stalin, what should we do with the officers? He said, oh, they're just Poles, execute them. They finally admitted it in 1992. The Russians finally admitted, yep, we killed 14,700 officers at the Katyn Forest. Massacred them. Why? Well, if you believe in evolution, you think you're superior because they're just inferior. You know, it's really best to wipe them out. It's like pulling weeds. That's all it is. Pol Pot, the leader of Cambodia during Cambodian reign of terror, killed 1/3 of his own population. I don't recommend you watch The Killing Fields. It's a pretty vile movie, but boy, it's pretty accurate. I mean, that's what they did. They killed people by the tens of thousands for any reason. When the communists took over China, they began killing Christians at the rate of 15,000 a month. Missionaries that were there reported, those that survived, that got out of China, said, you know, it was strange. When they came into our village, the communists came in, they didn't start teaching communism in the schools. The first thing they did in the schools was start teaching evolution. Communists know full well evolution is the foundation for communism. Russian atheist astronomer said, either there is a God or there isn't. Both possibilities are frightening. See, if there's no God, man's in charge. You put man in charge, you're asking for disaster. Okay? Evolution theory is dangerous. It brings forth bad fruit. It's a corrupt tree. And instead of plucking the branches off, fighting abortion and all these things, which I think we should do, go for the root, man. Fight the main philosophy behind it. The Bible says the earth is the Lord's. This whole problem started 6,000 years ago. God created everything. Lucifer decided he wanted to be God. Probably about 100 years after the creation is when Lucifer fell. I don't know. We cover some of that on video too. But Lucifer started this long war against God. Ezekiel tells us a little bit about it. It says iniquity was found in him. He was perfect until iniquity was found in him. He was lifted up because of his beauty, because of his power, because of his riches. He's the one that weakened the nations. Isaiah tells us, how have you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, thou son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Lucifer's causing this problem. He decided, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. The Bible says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider, saying, is this the man that made the nations tremble? How many saw the movie Wizard of Oz? Remember when they finally pulled the curtain back and there's the great Oz, you know? Is this the man? This is it? That's Oz, you know? That little guy pulling strings? He made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities. That's it? I thought you were the wonderful, great, and mighty Oz. No, we're going to be amazed when we see Satan cast into hell. We're going to be amazed at this little puny guy that wreaks so much havoc on this world. Satan is making plans to rule the world. Kind of like Pinky in the Brain, you know. God's up in heaven laughing about it. Psalm 2 is a great tranquilizer. The more you study about what's happening in the world, in the New World Order coming soon, the more nervous you can get if you're not careful. Just read Psalms 2. It'll calm you right down. It's a good tranquilizer. Why do the heathen rage? The people imagine vain thing. The kings of the earth set themselves. The rulers take counsel together against the Lord, against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. God is laughing at their plans for a new world order. You want to read some good books? Read 7 men who rule the world from the grave based on their philosophy. What you believe determines how you behave. That is for sure. Okay? Or if you want to know some things you can do about it in America to help slow things down, be sure to get this book about jury nullification. You know, one person on the jury can just vote not guilty if they don't like the law. The question is not, are they guilty or not? The question is the law reasonable? I don't like that law. Not guilty. Amazing book. You ought to read that. It's just $1. Henry Morris has an awesome book called The Long War Against God. That is a must-read for anybody studying creation and evolution. It's a bitter fruit coming off of an evil tree, folks. Evolution is also the foundation philosophy for the New World Order. There's an excellent video you can get from our ministry, Megiddo 1 and Megiddo 2. You want to study what's really going on and get the whole philosophy of what's happening so you can get the big picture. I recommend call our ministry and get those. We just ordered those here recently. There are lots more in our college class, 103. Evil men have already divided up the world into regions, and they've got it all planned. They want to rule the world. Their goal is reduce the population to 500 million, with a few of them as the elite get to rule the world. There's a committee of 300 that basically pull the strings. We spend all day talking about that. I don't have time tonight. But they've got their plans to rule the world. You know, like Pinky in the Brain. What are we going to do today, Pinky? We're going to go take over the world. It's what we always do, you know. God's in heaven laughing about it, okay? If you want to study some of the conspiracies, if you get into that kind of stuff, there have been numerous conspiracies. Get the Medusa File or the American Conspiracy, New American Magazine, The Conspiracy, see what's really happening. We could spend a long time talking about that, about the conspiracy. There's the Committee of 300 that really are controlling and pulling the strings, or the Illuminati, top 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, the super rich bazillionaires, the rich who want to rule the world. But that would be for those who want the red pill, only for those who've seen The Matrix. What they do is they develop a crisis intentionally so that they can bring in their solution to the crisis. That many events like the Civil War, World War I, the 1929 Depression, they are intentionally caused to make people come in and cooperate, whatever the reason may be. Okay? The 29 Depression was to make everybody get a Social Security number. That was the purpose of that. Cuban Missile Crisis was intentionally done. Okay? Oklahoma City bombing was intentionally allowed to stop the militia movement going on here in America. Call Ben Parton, the Air Force explosives expert. He says that no truck bomb blew up that building. The pillars were sheared off. That was C4 explosives wrapped around the pillars. Many folks are convinced the government was involved in taking down the building in Oklahoma City. And same thing with the Twin Tower bombing. Go to get the website 911inplainsight.com. Has anybody seen the movie In Plain Sight? Anybody seen that? David Rockefeller said, we're on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the New World Order. See, God has plans for the world, and so does Satan. And Satan's plan is no people here, or maybe just a few, and a one-world government. The Bible says perilous times shall come. The people will be fierce, despisers of those that are good. Christians are going to be absolutely hated. You can already see the animosity toward Christians on TV. You know, if there's a bad guy in the movie, and he's an axe-wielding person, you know, beating everybody up, it's always somebody quoting Bible verses, isn't it? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You know, always out there killing people. They make the Christians and preachers look awful on TV. One of the groups to really watch in this plan for the New World Order is FEMA. Boy, they have taken over my city since the hurricanes. There's just no question. They are in charge, all right? Just keep an eye on that group. George Bush told the Iraqi soldiers they should disobey if they're given orders to poison gas,